Locker Room, with all the sports news you need, live.
Well, hello, a very good evening to you, and welcome to the Locker Room. You're listening on Indie Live Radio, or maybe you're watching on Independence Live, whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook. You can contact us in the comments bar below, and also you can get us on Twitter, or some people call it Twitter, or just Twitter. Okay, that wasn't fun at all. So you can get us at the Locker Room Indie on Twitter as well. And so tonight we are only here until 6 o'clock. But next week we're back to the full boon, as I say, the full 2 hours between 5 and 7 as we get ready for the new football season. Yes. So joining me tonight, as usual, I can't get rid of this man, Mr. Duffy himself. And no, it's not John Duffy, it's Graham Duffy.
All right, mate. You love having me on here. What are you talking about?
I love you. I love having you on. Yeah. And the man himself, everybody knows him, especially on if you watch Abloaf TV the other night. Dave, how's it going, Dave?
Very well. I was meant to be going to open today, as Michael very much knows, but Michael McHugh's a good-looking man, and I couldn't let him down, so I'm here.
That's what all the old women say to me as well, Dave. But thanks anyway. So we're here until 6 o'clock. We're going to be speaking about the usual sports news until then. As I said, if you want to comment on Twitter or Facebook, comment below, or on Twitter at Locker Room Indie on Twitter. Right, let's get into it then, Dave. Day 2 of the 150th British Open Axe and Anglers. I've been watching bits and pieces, and you've been all over the golf as well. So tell us what's happening, Dave.
Yeah, I'm a big golf lover, Michael. It's been a good day, especially for the Americans. I mean, Young is currently 8 under. Young's in the lead, of course. Level with Johnson. The top 4 in the golf at the moment has been Young, Johnson, Gooch, and Schaefer, and they're all American. Young and Johnson have 8 under, Gooch and Schaefer have 7 under, and then the closest one after that is an English called T. Hatton after that. And in terms of the standard, it's been very, very high. Cameron Smith tried to do the same thing as Jack Nicklaus, as far as I'm concerned, where he's playing some fantastic golf and looking to repeat the heroics that Jack Nicklaus achieved at St Andrews. What I will say is what a fantastic atmosphere, and it's well worthy and acquitted of the 150th anniversary. So it has been absolutely brilliant to watch. I was meant to be going myself, but as I said earlier on, I couldn't let Michael and Graham down, so I'm here for them instead. But no, in terms of golf, it's absolutely brilliant, and it's also good to see Tiger Woods back. We'll obviously got to him later on the show, but Rory McIlroy is involved in his first major since 2019 as well. Hasn't got off to the best of starts, Rory McIlroy, but he'll be looking for an improved showing over the weekend. And Tiger, I hope this isn't the beginning of the end for Tiger Woods. I hope he's back in the future. And I hope he's back to St Andrews in the future, because Tiger Woods in the 21st century is golf. But no, as for the Open, it's been a brilliant 2 days so far. With two brilliant more days still to come.
It's a brilliant setting for this golf tournament, because I was watching some of it at lunchtime, and obviously they were showing you shots from the helicopter, and brilliant to see the golf, but brilliant to see a lot of people back at sporting events as well, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, I was a last-minute shout with regards to getting a ticket. I didn't exactly apply for a ballot or anything, and the amount of people that's wanting tickets after people have tried to sell them on Twitter and everything like that. It's just been absolutely fantastic, and people have been very much getting involved in this specific event. I mean, 290,000 people are expected to surround St Andrews, and when you look at St Andrews, it's not exactly the biggest place in the world, or it's not exactly even the biggest place in Scotland. It's a small town when you look at it, and I was a little bit disappointed that Tiger Woods didn't exactly do very well, because he ended today on 9 over and missed the cut completely. He waved goodbye to his adoring fans. This could be the end, and as I said in my last point there, Michael, it could be a disappointing end to it for Tiger Woods.
Do you think as well, Dave, no matter who wins the Open this weekend, all the headlines will be about Tiger Woods, because they don't know if this is going to be his last competition because of his accident that he had a few years ago?
I hope it isn't, to be honest with you. As much as Tiger Woods has been sensational in terms of getting back to the Open, getting back to St Andrews, where he's renowned on both accounts, I hope this weekend is about the guys that will go and win. For me, I'd like to see Cameron Young. I wasn't sure it was Craig or Cameron. I'd like to see Cameron Young or Cameron Smith win it this year. Cameron Young's produced a lot of quality over the last few days and is deservedly leading 8 under. Whilst Cameron Smith, as I said, is trying to be a bit like Nicholas. He's playing that specific way. And for me, unless it goes and capitulates, there'll only be an American winning this weekend. And Tiger's over and done with. I think the media will focus on Tiger tomorrow. By Monday morning, it'll be about whoever wins the Open.
Yeah, it's just brilliant to see sporting events back. Graham, I know that we spoke about this early on in the year in the show, but you know, the amount of people that's going to St Andrews as well, and like I know that there's a few people in my kind of Twitter feeds been up at St Andrews since Monday as well. So you know, as people say, that there's a buzz about the place.
Yeah, there is, rightly so. You know, we spoke numerous times on previous shows about the fact that having crowds back at any sporting event is absolutely huge. And for an event like this as well, and with the weather we're getting just now, it's even better. And I think a lot of folk have spoke about the crowd already at the Open, and it's been brilliant. And just what Dave said there about Tiger Woods, I've actually seen some quotes of Tiger Woods just now. So speaking about missing the cut, he did say, "I am not retiring from the game, but I just don't know if I will be physically play again by the time it comes back around. I can still play future British Opens, yes, but in 8 years' time, I doubt if I'll be competitive at this level. It's a struggle just playing the 3 events I have this year. I had a few tears, and I'm not one who gets teared about anything, but when it comes to the game and then just the transition, I was lucky enough to watch Arnold Palmer hitting his tee shot as I was out on the range. I could hear Jack Nicklaus hitting his last one, but ovations were getting louder and louder. I felt that coming in. The people knew I wasn't going to make the cut, but the ovations got louder. I was coming home. And that, to me, it felt just like the respect. I've always respected the event and the game, and I've put my heart and soul over the years. I think the people have appreciated my play in the event. I mean, Tiger Woods is 46. We spoke last week about Andy Murray, and could he hit the heights again? That's the same for Tiger Woods, but Tiger Woods is a lot older than Andy Murray. So I don't think we'll see Tiger Woods at his best again, but it's been brilliant to see him back at this tournament this weekend, and it's a shame that he has missed the cut, but he said himself, I think everyone knew that was going to happen anyway.
I think as well, Graham, I think you took the words out of my mouth there when I was saying about, we were talking about this to the other David Ferguson last week on the programme about Andy Murray. It must be a bit hard for kind of like sportsmen and sportswomen to give up their sports that they love, and in this case, Tiger Woods. And it was because of pity that he was in that accident a couple of years ago, or else maybe he would go on and win some more kind of like majors.
100%. You know, we all know that Tiger Woods is a very controversial character, if you like, but he's a brilliant golfer. We all know that, and it is a shame. And you know, yes, we spoke about last week. You know, it must be difficult for any professional, but every professional knows that their career is going to come to an end at some point. They won't want it to, but unfortunately, it happens to us all. We get older and we can't do what we want to do. But I think for the fans that have been out there the last couple of days, to see Tiger Woods just playing in the flesh again, it's brilliant. And it is a shame that he has missed the cut, but you know, he has said that he will try and compete again, but it won't be at the highest level, and that's a shame because he has been a brilliant competitor over the years.
Dave, I know that there's a few Scottish contingents in the Open this year. How are they getting on?
Robert McIntyre had a good round yesterday. I haven't followed him much today, but the Scottish lot have done okay. Bobby, I'm trying to get his last name now. Bobby, hold on, it'll come to me. Bobby, I'll come back to that one. There we go, Bobby Brown. Barclay Brown, sorry. Barclay Brown's shot 3 under, and Barclay Brown's had a really, really good tournament. Barclay Brown is, I'm just going to get his age for you. He's an amateur. He's an amateur player. He's an amateur player just breaking in. This is his first major, and he's done very, very well. And Barclay Brown is from Scotland. I don't know where about actually, but he is Scottish and done very, very well. Robert McIntyre, as I touched upon, had a really good day yesterday. Not so much today, but in terms of Scottish lot, they have done reasonably okay. Brown's currently ranked 46th in the world, and I think a good Open will put him right up there. Sometimes a good tournament such as the Open is a good springboard for players such as Barclay Brown to go and express his own impetus on his own golf career, and that's exactly what I think he'll bring. So he's been absolutely fantastic in that part. And I mean, you've got to remember, Barclay Brown wasn't in the best of form here in this tournament. I mean, he was 90th in a NCAA D1 championship, which was basically an amateur competition, just for any golf wanderers out there. But yeah, in terms of the Scottish players, they've been absolutely fantastic, and I'm confident they can go and have a good weekend in Barclay Brown and Robert McIntyre.
Put your cards on the table now, Dave, if you're a betting man, and I know you're not into all that kind of thing. Who will win the Open for you?
If he maintains his consistency, it'll be Cameron Young. He's had a brilliant few days, and he's 8 under, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, for a player of that magnitude to hit 8 under par just tells you that he's doing something right. And let's not forget, he is 25 years old. He could be the potential next big one here. Tiger Woods was a big one. Rory McIlroy was a big one. Jack Nicklaus was a big one. And Cameron Young could be the next big one. I mean, he's done reasonably well in his golf career so far. But winning something like the Open would open his golf career, I liked. So for me, I'm going to go for Cameron Young to win.
Graham?
Do you know what? I don't think he will, but I'd kind of like to see Rory McIlroy win it. I just think he's a really nice guy as well as being a great golfer, but I don't know if he will, but I'd like to see him winning it.
I think he's out. I think he's on the course now, Dave. Is that right? Or
yeah, he is.
Yeah. So if you've got any comments to make about the golf, tweet us at the Locker Room Indie on Twitter as well. It's brilliant to see big tournaments coming back to Scotland, Graham, especially the 150s of the British Open coming to St Andrews.
Yeah, it is, and the Scotland fans get behind any event that comes. Look at the Commonwealth Games when it came to Glasgow. You know, the Scottish fans do get behind things like this. So yeah, it's fantastic, and as I say, they've got the weather for it, and hopefully that holds up over the next couple of days. But you know, it's just brilliant to see big crowds back again, because for a while, a few years ago, we didn't think we'd get that back again. So to see these big crowds at these big sporting events, it really is fantastic, and I hope everyone's enjoying it and not getting too sunburnt, because I'm absolutely roasted in here, and this is really, really hot in Pennacook, I have to say.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good to see sporting events back. I must say that Dave, one of the guys I was enjoying watching today, and I saw him yesterday getting interviewed, is Big John Daly. Yeah,
he's a class act. He's a character, the golf, and he's been about it for years and still keeps going. Yeah, he won't be able to walk as much now because of age and ability and all that kind of stuff, but he's still a fantastic golfer, and I think that was showing how he was just fantastic over the last few days. And if he misses the cut, fine, fair enough. But John Dale has just been absolutely fantastic. He's really, really good in front of the camera as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, I mean, the goal's on till Sunday, and I suppose it's just there we go. So the McElroy is 7-1. Ah, right, okay. So cool. Even we're getting contributors keeping us up to date as well. So, but I'm sorry you're not getting paid for that. You're just going on the back of a nice cup of tea that day for me make you after the show with 2 sugars and milk. Thanks very much. So yeah, I mean golf is I must admit it's not a big I don't follow Dave, but when it's on the TV, I try and watch bits of it, especially what's on the final day as well, because that's very exciting on the final day.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic. And I was actually trying to get a ticket for Sunday because it would have been better going on Sunday than it would have been today, to be honest, although it would have been brilliant to see Tiger in the flesh today. But no, I'm pretty sure the final day will be intriguing and interesting. It'll be good to see how things go. The last event I went to was the Scottish Open at Aberdeen 4 years ago, maybe. And that was absolutely fantastic. If I remember right, it was between Westwood and somebody else battling down to win it, and Westwood did so with ease, and it was just fantastic that day. But I think there'll be an American winner this year, and they'll be born in the USA.
Yeah. Okay, now we can't hear Dave because yeah, no, Graham's just cut him off by that. So no, but so the golf is on the now, and we are going to change sports to a bigger ball. I'm trying to keep it in the family of the show now. Football, because as you know, the football's coming back in the next 2 weeks or so, and we'll be back next Monday, Friday, between 5 and 7. With myself, Graham. I'm losing the will to live here. Maybe it's too hot here. Michael and Graham and Dave, and hopefully one or two other additions to the show this season. So we'll watch out for new names popping up as we work behind the scenes to try to get new people on the show. So when the yeah, so I take it that's Kevin watching now, or maybe it's Graham doing this wind up off in that Cat Talbot. So yeah, but I'm going to
when they play Hearts again. When they play Hearts again, answer to that question.
Yeah. Well, I was going to give you one more. I was going to give you one better than that, and tell you never. But sorry about that, Kevin. So the Premier Sports Cup has been up and running for a week now, Graham, because it started, what was it, last Saturday? And I was watching some of the games on TV on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Brilliant to see football back, brilliant to see fans back. What do you make of the game so far before you speak about your beloved Hearts?
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed Falkirk 1 Hibs 0 for obvious reasons. But no, I mean it's been decent. I think me and Dave did a transfer show a couple of weeks ago and spoke about the transfers folk have made, and you know Aberdeen have signed really well. Hibs, I think so far have actually strengthened quite well. Disappointing result for them on the day, obviously, but I think they'll bounce back for that. It's one game, but it's been a lot of decent stuff played, and it's great to have football back again. You know, yeah, playing friendlies is fine, but you want proper football back, and this has been decent. Obviously, the Hearts aren't involved in this because we've got European football and stuff, so we're not involved in this, but it's been great to see it back, and I think at the moment, I'm actually quite impressed with Bonnyrigg Rose. They beat Clyde the other day. That was a really big win for them, and they play Hibs on Sunday in Bonnyrigg. That will be a really big turnout, I think. There'll be a lot of fans of that game, and listen, I'm not going to lie, I'd love to see Bonnyrigg winning that, but I think Hibs would be very big favourites for that. But, I mean, what a chance for Bonnyrigg to play against Hibs. be a massive, massive game. And it'd be great to get a big turnout. I think there will be a big turnout for that. So, yeah, that's a game I'm looking forward to watching, actually. Bonner against Hibs.
Let's speak about the game that you're going to, Dave, tomorrow, and what's out in the TV cameras, by the way, because Dave's famous now. He's may go on out above TV and all that. He never get paid for it, by the way. He only got a free pie, so I heard. So let's speak about the game Montrose. I don't know if it's got a TV channel or YouTube channel.
Aye, we do. Shout out to Ben McDonald, who does the commentary. Good pal of mine, so shout out to him.
Yeah, so there you go. Dave might appear on that tomorrow and doing a halftime analysis. Against Montrose against Kilmarnock. This could be a bit of a kind of funny one, Dave. A kind of banana skin, you would say.
Yeah, because I mean, Kilmarnock, from their point of view, they were comfortable enough at Fraserburgh last Saturday. By the way, Kevin, that was a lovely pie on Wednesday. It was steak and black pudding, actually. It's a steak and black pudding pie at a broth on Wednesday. It was absolutely fantastic. But I got to Kilmarnock, who do another lovely pie in my yard, but unfortunately they're not.
Can you hold on a minute? I've just got an email from Mary Berry coming through. No, I'm on the kitchen, Dave. I haven't.
Yeah, Kilmarnock was too strong for Fraserburgh last Saturday, and then I didn't watch the game on Wednesday, but I mean it was KJ Fairby Park official by all accounts, and Park prevailed on penalties, but Wednesday was an alarming one for Kilmarnock, and tomorrow is a big game for Kelly. But then they've got the banana skin against Montrose, because Montrose are a strong team at Links Park, so it's not going to be an easy game for Kelly. Derek McCriss has got to find tune out of his Kelly players, but Wednesday will be alarming for Kelly, yeah. But Montrose, I think they'll go on the radar a little bit this year, because you've got the Dunfermline renewed and re-energised Falkirk under John McGlynn, and you've got a strong League One this year. And Montrose have been renowned for being in the playoffs over the last few years, and it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of imagination for Kilmarnock tomorrow.
Graham, I don't know if you saw the fixture for tomorrow yet, but there's a few games sticking out for me. The one at Craig against Morton, and Ross County against Dunfermline. And I don't know about you, but no matter who Ross County plays, it's always they're always in for a good game of football. So yeah, what do you make of the games tomorrow, Graham?
Yeah, I'm actually just looking for the games just now because I had them up on my phone and I completely couldn't find them. Here we go. So we've got Annan against Elgin, Bucky against Alloa, Clyde against Morton, Cove against Livingston, Cowdenbeath against St Mirren, Edinburgh, FC Edinburgh against Arbroath, Forfar against Hamilton, Celtic against Dublin Rovers, Montrose Kilmarnock, Peterhead against Dumbarton, Queen of the South St Johnstone, Wraith Stirling, Ross County Dunfermline, Stennismuir Fraserburgh, and Stranraer Dundee. I think for me, Ross County Dunfermline is a big game. Dunfermline, we all know that they really are, for me, they should be a Premier League side, and they're not. They've really struggled. I think that's a big game for them tomorrow. Ross County at home, you'd expect them to win that game. But I think for me, the biggest game tomorrow for me, and I know it's very early in the season, I know it's only a couple of games, but for me, the biggest game tomorrow is St Johnstone away Queen of the South.
Yeah.
St Johnstone lost to Annan Athletic on Tuesday night on penalties. I mean, that's a shocking result for St Johnstone at home against a League Two side, and they couldn't score. I mean, I really worry for St Johnstone again this season. I know they've still got plenty of games left. They've still got plenty of games to go. Season's not started yet, but it's a really poor start for St Johnstone. And Queen of the South are a decent side. They gave Hearts and numerous times a difficult game in the Championship last season. So that's a tough game for St Johnstone, that. And I think if they were to lose that game, listen, I'm not going to say it's ultra crisis, but if they lose that game as well, I think that's a really disappointing start for Callum Davidson.
And that's away from home as well, Graham.
Yeah, 100%. That just makes it even harder. I mean, so far they've not really signed a lot of players so far. They've only got a few in. I know, as I said, they will probably strengthen. But to lose to Annan Athletic, to not score at home, that's a massive disappointment for them.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know the score until you text the WhatsApp group the other night. But I mean, even skill penalty kicks, that's a bit embarrassing for St Johnstone.
I mean, I don't know. As I say, there is a long way to go. The season's not started yet. But I mean, for a team like St Johnstone, you've got to think they won 2 cups not that long ago.
Yeah,
They've already lost their first game in the Premier Sports Cup. If they lose tomorrow, they're playing catch-up, and I think a lot of St Johnstone fans are a little bit concerned at the lack of transfers they've done so far. Listen, I've said before, St Johnstone are a good club. They're a family-run club. They've got a great stadium. They don't have enough fans to fill it. But to lose your opening game against Annan Athletic at home is such a massive disappointment.
Another, I'm just looking over the games as well, Graham. Another sticky one for Hamilton. They're away to Forfar tomorrow, and we know what like Hamilton is in cup competitions.
Yeah, again, when we talk about the championship, and I reckon there's probably 7 or 8 teams could win the championship. Hamilton are one of them. But again, that's a tricky game for them tomorrow. Station Park, again, difficult place to go. That could be potentially difficult. You know, Hamilton, they do tend to struggle at places like this, so that could be another hard game. I would expect them to win it, but I don't think it'll be comfortable. And Forfar give them a game. And I'm intrigued at the game that Dave's going. I think that'll be a really difficult game. Again, you'd expect Kilmarnock to win that, but these places are not easy to go to. You know, teams like Montrose make it hard for you. So that's another tricky game. But, I mean, honestly, I'm glad that Hearts aren't in this yet, because I wouldn't really fancy going to places like this early in the season. But, you know, it's a very difficult game, that. And I think Forfar will be up for it, but I don't know. I just think Hamilton might just sneak that, but it'll be tough.
And obviously, you've got the game that I'm looking at now, Dave, is Skinbra against the New Boys Dundee.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting game because Shinra were in the heavy end of a 5-1 drubbing by Accies on Tuesday. And then you've got a Dundee side at a point again because Gary Boyers came into the club. He's signed some good players. Another one coming in today, Ben Williamson on loan from Rangers, who did really well on loan at Raith Rovers, Arbroath and Livingston, respectively. And I don't know what kind of side Stranraer like at home, but they did get beat 5-2 by Queen's Park last Saturday at Stair Park. So I think if you're Dundee, you're going to be very confident ahead at this game tomorrow, but try not to be arrogant at the same time as well. So for Stranraer, it's going to be an interesting one to see what they're about. As for Dundee, I think they'll be professional and get the job done. I think there's a lot of quality. For me, I think Dundee are 2 players short of challenging for the league. It's a striker and probably a centre half.
Dave, what do you reckon Gary Boyer is a good appointment for Dundee?
Oh, 100%. He wasn't the appointment that a lot of people expected it to be. A lot of people expected it to be Jack Ross, and then that didn't exactly work out for the Dundee fans. He went across the road to the disappointment of Dundee fans, very much so. But Gary Boyers came in. He's been known in the past, Graham, to be involved in predicaments and difficult situations at clubs. And Dundee were not in a sinking ship by any stretch of imagination, but they were in a bad place and they didn't need picked up. And it's funny how Boyers came in and changed 1 or 2 things. I mean, Neil McGinn had a wee bit of a goal drought towards the end of last season, but McGinn popped up a goal in the 3-0 win against Hamilton last Saturday. There's a lot of forward-thinking impetus. Alex Jakubiak has came back from his loan at Partick Thistle and looked very, very sharp and scored in a friendly against Blackburn on Wednesday as well. So for Dundee, there's a lot of positivity about that club just now. And what's helping Dundee is they're training at Gardyne campus, which is where the college is in Dundee. And that's helping them because it's better instead of going to Neds Park in the morning and just train at a local grassroots pitch. So it's a lot better. There's a lot better foundations for Dundee moving forward.
I wanted to obviously Celtic, Rangers, and Hearts, and remind me of other European representatives.
Dundee,
Yeah. Okay, how could I forget that? Yeah, they're not in the League Cup right now. But I wanted to get your take on it, guys, about Bassey might be moving from Rangers, and they were saying about 25 million. So what do you think of that, Graham?
Before I say anything, I just want to give a shout out. I mentioned this last week. So last Saturday, there was a charity event at the Orium, and it was Hearts fans and Legends against Hibs fans and Legends. One of my good mates, Russell, organised this to raise money for Prestonfield Day Centre. Unfortunately, Hibs won by 2-1, but we'll skip over that. But it was apparently an absolutely brilliant day. Weather was brilliant. I think it was inside, actually. They got a really good turnout, and they've managed to raise about £8,000 for the charity, which is absolutely magnificent. So a massive shout out to everybody involved that made it a brilliant day. To the Hearts guys, the Hibs guys, just everybody. And massive shout out to Russell for organising it, along with his kind of backroom staff. It was brilliant. Really well done. I couldn't be prouder of everyone that was involved in that from the Hearts side and the Hibs side. So massive shout out to them all. On the Calvin Bassey side, I think one of our colleagues, James, had mentioned in the group chat, do we think he's worth 25 million? I think he will be, but I don't think he's played enough games yet for that. Now, I think Calvin Bassey is a very, very good player. You know, I've seen him numerous times playing for Rangers, and he's a very, very athletic player. You know, when he loses the ball, he wins it back. He's physical, he's quick. I think he's got all the attributes to be a top class defender. But at the moment, I don't think he's quite worth 25 million. I think maybe I'd say between 12 and 15 million at the moment, but I do think that in time he will be 25 million, but I just don't think he's played enough games yet.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I suppose before we get Dave's take on the Bassey situation, has your pal got any more kind of like arrangements for any more games coming up?
Well, he has actually been asked, because of the success of this one, to do a few more for different charities. So I think it's a great idea. I might get involved in playing, possibly. I haven't decided yet, but no, I just think, I mean, what he did to organise this was incredible. The amount of work he put into that, and he deserves a massive, massive credit. Not just because I'm a mate, but he's put so much work into this, and you know, to raise that much money for Prestonfield Day Centre was brilliant. And I know I spoke to a few of the lads earlier that they all had a brilliant, brilliant day. I've seen a lot of photos of the game, and it was just brilliantly organised, and everybody enjoyed it. Okay, Hibs won, but that's not the main thing. You know, it was just a brilliantly organised day, and they got the weather for it. It was beautiful. So he is hoping to organise a few more, and if he does, I will let everyone know. And if I am involved, I will be probably near an ambulance after about 10 minutes because I'm no fit at all.
Dave, what do you think of Kevin Bassey then? 25 million? Are they worth that?
I don't think he's ready for that valuation just yet, but I think he has the credentials to be worth that amount of money. I will say that. I mean, Bassey was an important player for Rangers, especially in the latter stages of last season. Had a fantastic display in the Europa League final, and then repeated that 3 days later with a good performance against Hearts in the Scottish Cup final. And he was a top performer when it really mattered for Rangers. He made that left back place his own. I mean, Barisic was known for being the custodial number 3 for Rangers. But once Bassey got a good run at it and Barisic got injured, there was no looking back for Calvin Bassey. And I can understand why clubs are looking at Calvin Bassey. Now, if Bassey was to move on and Rangers were to get a good valuation for it or a good fee, it would boost the bank balance of Rangers, understandably so. But also, I think Rangers need to look at long term here and make sure they're not just letting players go for the sake of financial reasons. I think there's got to be a little bit more impetus involved. I mean, Bassey's playing some good football for Rangers right now. He's very much encompassed in the club. When Jimmy Bell passed away, God bless Jimmy Bell, Calvin Bassey was one of the players that was on the Rangers TV cameras going, "Jimmy, I love you, Jimmy." And that's just the type of guy he is. He's got the club at heart, and I think that's an important thing for Calvin Bassey.
Graham, Aberdeen, we were talking about that before we came on the air today. They've been signing players like like every day. I would say at the moment.
They have, we spoke, me and Dave again on the transfer show, spoke about the fact that they need to do a lot of business, and they have done. They signed another player today, a striker, I think it is, and I think they're paying money for him as well. So he has been backed, as Dave said earlier. And I think Aberdeen, I said this last season, Aberdeen and Hibs cannot be any worse this season, and I don't think they will be. And I think Jim Goodwin's been backed. I know there's been talk about Conor Ronan, but apparently he has been included in the Wales squad, Wolves squad for the season ahead, so that probably won't happen. But I think you have to say that Jim Goodwin, I think, will do a very good job this season at Aberdeen. They won very comfortably against Dumbarton the other night. It was only 2-0, but it could have been 4 or 5 of what I saw. So I think he will do a very good job. And I don't think, Dave might tell me more about this, but I don't think they're finished yet in terms of transfers. I think they're probably bringing at least another 2 or 3. So
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think they are 2 or 3 short. I think the recruitment done by Jim Goodwin has been astute so far. He's taken the right caliber of player. I mean, the players that have been brought in, they've been impressive. I was at Peterhead on Sunday. Jaden Richardson did very, very well at right back. Yuba Ramadani did well in centre midfield on Wednesday, and that was pretty much his first game in an Aberdeen shirt, having just arrived in the Grant City on Monday morning there. And Kyle Roos in the goals has been good. A player I'm looking forward to seeing when he gets his passport finally through is Bojan Majorski, really good striker. No, but say I'm more intrigued to see what the relationship's going to be like between him and Christian Ramirez. Ramirez has came back to pre-season very, very hungry. It's going to be interesting to see how Goodwin gets the philosophy across to both those strikers in order to score a lot more goals than they did last season. But defensively as well, they look a lot more astute. And William Scales and Anthony Stewart are forming a really, really good relationship already.
Can I do a segue here? This is great. Didn't even mean this, but I'll do a segue anyway. So one player that won't be at Aberdeen is Lewis Ferguson, who signed for Bologna. What a segue that is! What a segue that is!
If there was a man with a match, I would give it to you, Graham.
I'm taking that. It fits to the headline below. It's great. So Lewis Ferguson signs for Bologna now.
Bye.
Honestly, I think that's a brilliant move. He's played 132 games for Aberdeen, scored 27 goals, 4 Scotland caps. He's only 22. I mean, I think that's a brilliant move for Lewis Ferguson. I think he's been a really good servant for Aberdeen. And I think this might even help his Scotland chances. I know we talk about the Scotland midfield has been very strong, but if Ferguson's getting games in the Serie A for a team like Bologna, where Aaron Hickey has just left, I think that's a brilliant move. I don't know if you agree with that, Dave, or what your thoughts are on that.
I do. First and foremost, from Lewis Ferguson's point of view, it is a really, really good move because, I mean, I kind of got the impression when Lewis Ferguson was at Aberdeen that he was getting a lot to do, or he was taking a lot of accountability upon himself, where he was having to get on the ball, or he was having to do a lot more tasks than usual because of the quality of the rest of the Aberdeen squad, which wasn't poor, but it was mediocre at best. And Lewis Ferguson kind of had to, when he was in form, he had to go and drive 2 or 3 players on. He was basically a player that would help 2 or 3 players in the team. So his value, his influence towards the team can't be undermined as far as I'm concerned. So from Lewis Ferguson's point of view, he's earned his move to Italy, and wish him all the best. And it was a good move for him because he was with some Millwall, and I don't think Millwall was going to be as good a move for him. Bologna, as you rightly touched upon, was a good hunting ground for Aaron Hickey in terms of getting a move to the English Premier League. And I hope that's the same for Ferguson here. I hope Ferguson uses this nice hunting ground to go into the Premier League or play with players that he'll play with at Bologna, because Bologna are a solid Italian side who will play in the front foot, who will be organised, who will play in a high press. So Bologna is a good move for Lewis Ferguson, and he won't have as much accountability of responsibility as he did at Aberdeen, which I think is a good thing from Lewis Ferguson's point of view. As for an Aberdeen point of view, Aberdeen fans are rightly disappointed and sad that Lewis Ferguson is going. But Yuba Ramadani has been brought in to replace Lewis Ferguson. And as much as it'll be a pillar tablet to swallow right now, I don't think it will be later on in the season. I think Ramadani will come in and make the midfield area his own. But for Ferguson, he's moved on.
Aberdeen Football Club have moved on, and Lewis Ferguson's probably gained a lot of respect for the club and from the club, which will be a brilliant thing to have moving forward.
One team I'm looking forward to seeing this season, and they done a good season last season, Dave, was Dundee United. Now Thomas Coates is away abroad, having a man, getting a new job and possibly more money. Do you think that's going to upset Dundee United as a team this season? And I know that they brought on one or two players over the summer, but do you think it'll upset the kind of like momentum of the team and the support as well?
I think we'll find out the full answer to that probably at the start of the season, in all honesty. I mean, Dundee United have been very late in terms of their pre-season preparations, probably because they qualified for Europe more than anything else, in all honesty. They've been in Marbella for the last week, Dundee United, but in terms of match fitness, they're still undercooked as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, they've been absolutely boiling hot in Marbella, but in terms of match fitness, they'll still be undercooked, and the games against Sunderland and Fleetwood will help massively with regards to Dundee United's preparations for the season ahead. They've recruited really, really well. And Jack Ross wants quality, not quantity. Dylan Levitt coming back is absolutely brilliant for Dundee United because he was a cult hero at Tannadice last year. And Stephen Fletcher maybe hasn't scored enough goals at Stoke and Sunderland and Marseille and all these kind of places. But any post I see about Stephen Fletcher from a Dundee United fan, it was all about positivity. A lot of Dundee United fans are happy that Stephen Fletcher signed for Dundee United, and he's a really good signing. Dundee United are close to bringing in the goalkeeper from Australia, and I think there's a fullback coming in from Australia as well. So once those players come in, I think it will help the start lineup massively. For me, I think United still need a bit more quality, probably in the striking area. But if you're signing Stephen Fletcher, you ask yourself the question: Is there going to be any more adjustments in the forward areas? Probably not. And I'm expecting to see Rory McLeod get a chance in the first team this season. So I think in terms of United, I think if there's any more adjustments, it'll be from defensive-minded areas.
Back to the golf we go then. Who says it's a live show then? We're here till 6 o'clock. You can comment on the video on YouTube or Facebook as well. And I'll be watching the Twitter tonight at Locker Room Indie on Twitter as well. And we've got another comment coming in, Graham, about the golf.
Yeah, so Ronnie has said the Aussie Cameron Smith is making St Andrews look like a pitch and putt today. 13 under, 8 under for today with 4 holes still to play. McIlroy dropped a shot back to 7 under, so thanks, Ronnie, very much for that.
I think Ronnie wants to come on the show and and take over from Graham or Dave or me. What we'll do is we'll auction us all for charity. How about that, Graham?
I wouldn't get very much. You might.
Well, I would get £2 more than you, and and all that. So just come back to the chat about St Johnstone this season coming up, Dave. I know it's the Premier League sport. They've made a bag stacked to the they've made a bag stacked to the Premier the Premier Cup. But do you think that supporters will give Callum Davison a few games before they get on his back again?
Yeah, Tuesday hurt massively for Johnston fans. It hurt massively for Callum Davidson. The guy Dan Cleary gets sent off after 27 minutes or something. It was for an altercation with an athletic player. Something that Callum Davidson said was playground football, which I found very, very funny. And they also said, was it Cameron McPherson, I think it was, sent off as well, which was worrying from a St Johnstone point of view. It's a big game for St Johnstone to Queen of South tomorrow. No eradicating a way around it. They've got to win at Queen of South tomorrow, and then they've got to go up to Elgin on Tuesday and win at Elgin on Tuesday as well, because, I mean, Aaron are in pole position. Now, it'd be fantastic from a St Johnstone point of view if ex-St Johnstone player Gavin Price can go and do the Saints a favour, and he's actually from that neck of the woods. Gavin Price is actually from Aberfeldy, just outside Perth.
And if Elgin win tomorrow, he might go to the festival you're going to, Michael. So he might get an opportunity to have a wee catch up with him. But no, in terms of St Johnstone, it was
Might be a bit rabbit.
it was a very worrying result for St Johnstone Tuesday. I mean, Aaron are a strong side. I think they'll probably this season, or hopefully this season, come up to League One. I think they've got the credentials to do it. I think they've got a good manager, Peter Murphy, to go and do it. But that was a big result for Aaron on Tuesday. Yeah, it was only effectively 2 points for the Gallabunkies, but for sake, it's embarrassing. There's no other way to look at it. And they're up against a Roy Gibson Queen the South Side who were disappointed last Saturday. They were woeful, and Roy Gibson and his players got a lot of justified criticism after the game. But then the Queens bounced back very much well with beating Ayr United. And while we're on this specific group, Michael, Duds of the Week goes to Elgin City. You'll wonder why. I don't know if you've noticed. Elgin City got beat 3-0. It was a 1-1 draw with Ayr United after 90 minutes. But they actually got 3-0, Michael, because of an administrative error for Darren McCarty. Basically, the Elgin City secretary didn't know that the player in question was suspended. So, Duds of the Week, the Elgin City secretary.
Right, okay, yeah.
Did they get? I'm assuming they got fined for that, did they not?
They got fined £1,000 and obviously 3-0 Ayr in the final scoreline.
That's a bad mistake to make. Imagine not knowing your player suspended.
Only in Scottish football that could happen too, and the season's not beginning yet. So yeah, there you go, Dave.
To be fair, Hearts did that a few seasons ago. Andy Irvine was ineligible. We played him in a game.
Come on, did that last year at East Kilbride as well.
Aye, we got done for that.
So Ronnie wants a part of the show, by the way, guys. So one of you might not be here next week. Good show, lads. So I don't know if he's talking about me, Graham, or Dave. But if it's me, thanks very much, Ronnie. Buy me a pint.
Well, it's not you. That's for sure.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's no Dave, so it must be Graham. Yeah, and I'm waiting for Graham to tell me like Ronnie is his uncle or something. So
not that I know of.
In fact, don't let us know that, but yeah, just a bit of fun as well. Okay, so we went from a big ball to a weird shaped ball now. This show's all about balls now this week. Yeah. Rugby, of course, I'm talking about. What else we gotta be talking about? Comment below. No, fact, don't bother. Okay, so Scotland is playing Argentina tomorrow in the first test in Argentina. Not a good series for Scotland so far against Argentina. They get beat last week, and they're playing tomorrow night. And I've got to make a shout out to Owen Smith. He's making his debut, and he's just 21. So there you go. So it's a big game for him tomorrow night. So yeah, Scotland, Graham, disappointing so far in this test series. Not won the game yet, I don't think.
That's slightly harsh. They won last week, 29-6. What are you talking about?
Right, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was just testing you, Graham, just to see if you
I'm still awake. Now, tomorrow's the decider. They were far better last week. They were far better last week because the week before they were absolutely awful. So they won 29-6 last week. So yeah, as you said, Ollie Smith makes his debut tomorrow, 21-year-old. Big game for him. And obviously, we talked about Hamish Watson last week, who made his 50th cap. And tomorrow, he is the Scotland captain. So that's for the first time as well. So that's a massive occasion for him. I think based on last week, I would think Scotland will probably win the series now. Again, famous last words. My predictions usually are absolutely terrible. But I think the momentum's with Scotland, and I thoroughly expect Scotland to win this game tomorrow. I think Dave Ferguson has said last week he thought Scotland would as well, which I did agree with. And last week they were far, far better. So I do expect Scotland to wrap up the series with a victory. I really fingers crossed that they will. But as you said, it's a massive game for Ollie Smith making his debut, and I hope he plays really well.
And 21 as well, Dave. I mean, no matter how, no matter what sport you're talking about, it's still a big achievement to make your debut, but also for your national, your country as well.
Yeah, whenever you play for your national country, it's always an absolute privilege and a honour to represent Scotland. And it's a pity we couldn't say that about football with Alex McLeish a few years ago, because that ended up in absolute disarray. But as for the rugby, whenever there's an opportunity to play for Scotland, it needs to be grabbed with both arms. And whether you're young or old, whenever there's an opportunity, it's just absolutely brilliant. And here's hoping Owen Smith can go and grab that opportunity and obviously put on a good showing whenever the games come around. Hopefully he gets more appearances down the line, and hopefully he plays some part in the game tomorrow against Argentina.
10 minutes of the show left, and don't forget you can still comment on Facebook and YouTube, and you can comment on Twitter at the Locker Room Indie. Bill has come in with an interesting comment. Graham, why don't they just put Argentina in the Six Nations instead of Italy?
Yeah, I mean, Italy, the whipping boys, the San Marino really rugby. They don't win a lot of games, but I think Argentina probably would be a decent test in the Six Nations, but I don't think they'll ever change it now, to be honest. Maybe they will, but I don't think they will. But it's a very valid point. I wouldn't mind seeing Argentina in the Six Nations, but, Italy, they are what they are. They don't really win a lot of games, and they are kind of cannon fodder at times, although most teams give Scotland a hard game. But yeah, I can see the point in that. I wouldn't mind Argentina in there, but I just don't think they'll change it.
Yeah, so and it's always nice to see your national team winning games, as I said, because I knew Scotland won last week. Graham, I just wanted to test you and see if you were keeping up with the sports news. Not like me, not a professional like me. So yeah, and Kevin came out and also the Indie Live producer boy. You know who he is. He's not a boy yet as well, I don't think. He says Argentina would be a great addition to the Six Nations, but I think they just want to hear Madonna saying, "Don't cry for me, Argentina."
Maybe they should put
as well.
Maybe they should put Auckland like Talbot in the Six Nations.
Don't get him started, man. We've only got 9 minutes left. Okay, I think we should go away from rugby and Argentina and Madonna and all that kind of carry on. Dave, Commonwealth Games, this goes round the corner.
That's fantastic. Looking forward to that.
Yeah. But it's been a bit of a weird build-up to this one because, it's not been on the TV as much, the build-up to it as well. The Commonwealth Games begin on the 28th of July to the 8th of August. But it's a wee bit different to the Olympics because you've got Team Scotland against Team England and Team Wales and all that, whereas in the Olympics it's got Team GB. So there's a bit of kind of needle, you would say, about the Commonwealth Games to the Olympics.
Yes, buzzing, because there's no Team GB, meaning Scotland can get one right over England. And by the way, for independence purposes, it's an early indication of where we could be 14 months down the line, especially because we've got an independence referendum hopefully coming up in the not too distant future. Commonwealth Games, can't wait for it to begin again. And it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Hopefully we get a good show again from the Scottish players, and they always try hard whenever they participate in these types of events, and we always seem to do well in the athletics. And yeah, whenever we're doing stuff, we're always doing it very, very well. And was it archery? I'm trying to remember 4 years ago. I think it was archery we did very, very well in.
I think you've got a good point there. Sorry, that was a.
Oh, boom, boom. I like that.
Sorry. Yeah, actually, I'm not so sure of that, Dave. But yeah, so, but no, I'm looking forward to the different sports as well. But I remember when the Commonwealth Games was in Glasgow in 2014. Graham, it was right. I went to the boxing. No, not up at Suckle Street. I went to the boxing at the SECC, and it was just brilliant to see a big sporting event and everybody talking about Glasgow for a change and Scotland
Yeah.
as well.
As long as I don't have to have John Barrowman and Karen DeBar singing again, anything's better than that, let's be honest. But no, it'll be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing different sports that, it's like when we had the Paralympics, there was a lot of sports I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be kind of the same thing. I'm just looking forward to, again, the buzz of seeing big crowds at these sporting events again, we spoke about earlier. It's going to be brilliant. And seeing these people come together, I just think it'll be brilliant. I know you'll be looking forward to it. What are you looking forward to most, Michael?
The actually, because I feel as though I can win points at that. No, sorry, that's a rubbish joke. I think what's in athletics.
Do we have Robin Hood at the archery for Scotland or no?
I'm not so sure about Robin Hood. We've got Reagan, but no, not Robin Hood.
You're on fire, right, pal?
I know. Well, it's hot outside, so
Is it the Paralympics this year?
No, see that's a good question, Dave, because the Commonwealth Games is the only competition actually has the Paralympics within the Commonwealth Games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's different to the Olympic Games. As well. What you look forward to seeing, Graham?
If I go archery, will that get me a bonus point?
No, because I think we've wasted that joke more than once tonight.
I don't know. I'm just looking forward to seeing different sports. Hopefully, get a chance to watch some of them. But as you said, it's great just to see, seeing big crowds again at these sporting events is so good because for a long time I didn't think we'd get that. So it's just, you're right. There is a massive buzz now, and I think it'll be brilliant to see.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we'll be covering it when we're back on with the football because, as I say, the Commonwealth Games begin on a Thursday. I feel that's a bit weird. Thursday, the 28th of July to the 8th of August, Monday, the 8th of August. So it's a bit weird because usually the Commonwealth Games begin, on a Friday or the weekend or something. Anyway, so that's coming up in 2 weeks. But you don't have to wait 2 weeks because we'll be back next Friday between 5 and 7 with me, Graham Duffy, and Dave Smith, and talking all things football. And don't forget, you can get involved at any time. Just tweet us at the Locker Room on Twitter, and you can send us an email if you want as well. It's a lockerroomindy@gmail.com. And of course, we will be back next week. Graham, looking forward to a new season.
Yeah, can't wait. Back to 2 hours again. I've missed doing these 2 hour shows, and obviously the football will be back very, very shortly. I know we've got plenty more sports, but the Football League season will start in a few weeks' time, which I cannot wait for. I can't wait to see Hearts winning the title. Woohoo! No, I can't wait. I'm buzzing for it already.
And so I'm looking forward to Hearts winning the league. I don't know when that will be then, but so I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for everybody commenting tonight. It's been a brilliant show, and thanks for your jokes as well, Graham. It's been wonderful to hear your jokes. You make some good points as well, Dave. So we'll see you next Friday between 5 and 7. Keep it here
on Indie Live Radio on Independence Live. And have a nice weekend.